Good morning, Bucknutters. It is Thursday, June 5th, 2025. Happy anniversary to my beautiful bride. Always easy to do the math for me. 26 years, going strong. You know, she made outkick the coverage there, dude, on my part, like Ray Guy style. So big ups to Maria Jimena Rubin for being the matriarch of Team Rubin. Pretty impressive for her. Welcome to the show. It's the Bucknuts Morning 5. Got my guys coming up here, Bill Kurelic and Mark Porter. This podcast covers the national champions. Big day today. Kind of a surprising guy on campus you're going to want to hear about. It's camp day at Ohio State. So we're coming to you a little bit early so Mark and Bill can get out on the road and get to campus in time to see all the recruits show up. We will give you a complete breakdown of what they expect to see today, including, like I said, a very, very interesting visitor we just learned about who was on campus and working out and worth talking about. But first, also worth talking about is how I carry around my money, my cards, everything like that. And that is Ridge Wallet right here. Boom. That's how small it is. Look at that. Boom. It's impressive. This thing, man, I'm telling you. You know what it also has? Do you know what digital pickpockets are now? Everyone's going to these digital wallets and stuff, and you got all your iPad and iPhone info in there. And they can shoot a little something in there right when they walk by you and steal that. Not with this thing. It's got RFID blocking technology, keeping you safe from digital pickpockets. It's early. If your lower back hurts from sitting on a giant brick all day, you're sitting unevenly, this unique, slim, modern design. Look at this thing. Get choice of colors too, by the way. Dave's got like black steel. Yep, 50 colors to choose from. Styles. Show off your wallet. There you see it. Made with premium materials like aluminum, titanium, and carbon fiber. Just in time for Father's Day, Ridge is having a huge sale. Get up to 40% off your order at ridge.com/bucknuts. Just head to ridge.com/bucknuts to find a perfect gift for dad. All right. Speaking of perfection, look who's coming into the show. The Dean, Bill Kurelic, and the Grand Poobah, Mark Porter. Like I said, a tad early today, guys, so you can get out to campus. Camp day. Bill, could you please tell us what you expect to see today? What does camp day mean at Ohio State? And Mark, maybe you can follow up on that as well. You guys have seen plenty over the years.
Camp day means Mark and I we're making a steady path to Ohio State starting today over the next couple of weeks. There are 5 one-day camps, first of which is today, 3 7-on-7 camps. So that'll be 8 camps we'll be at between now and June 18th. So by my math, that's 8 camps in the next 2 weeks. And today, we're going to see a very important visitor. One of the guys we're going to see today is defensive lineman Jaylen Brewster from Cedar Hill, Texas. Brewster is the country's #1 2027 defensive lineman. He's a 6'3", 300-pounder, the kind of guy that Ohio State would love to have in the middle. And keep in mind, 6'3", 300 pounds right now, and he's only just finished his sophomore season. So going to be going into his junior season. He got offered a scholarship when Larry Johnson stopped down to see him in Cedar Hill, Texas in late April. At that time, he told me he would be visiting Ohio State this summer. As he put it, I'm paraphrasing here. I've been interested in Ohio State for a minute, as he put it, and the time is now here. He arrived in Columbus yesterday, and he confirmed to me this morning that he will be at camp and is planning to work out at the camp today. So that's a guy that Mark and I will be certainly watching.
Mark, before we talk about Jaylen Brewster, tell me about camps. Who comes to these camps? What can they get accomplished? You know, what are the staff? What does the staff expect? Who else will be there? Because I know they vary.
Yeah, I think I remember when I first started covering this, I think there were 2 camps. And there may have been as many as 800 players at each camp, one at the beginning of June, one a couple weeks later. And Bill, you remember those days, the best of the best would go inside the field house and the rest of the kids would work out on the camp. And over the years and the coaching changes, the camps have evolved. And Bill said it, 8 of them or whatever, but I think there's 5 major tryouts in the next couple weeks. So the camp numbers have gone down and the reps for the players have gone up and the evaluation time has gone up. So you see a little bit more of the players. They don't go inside anymore. Now, who shows up? The hand-pick elite from across the country. If Brian Hartline is recruiting 10 linebackers, he will get all 10 linebackers to that camp at some point in time in those 5 trips. Sometimes he gets all of them there on one day, and Bill and I are like, wow, it's a linebacker day. Let's stay with the linebackers. Or it's a D-line day. So, there's peaks and valleys of what days kids can get there. I think I've traditionally noticed these first couple camps are top heavy. Everyone out of the gate wants to get there in a hurry and get their offer before they're all gone, so to speak. And That's kind of what it feels like. So there'll be some big timers here today. It's a mind scramble for Bill and I. You're standing there, you're looking around, everybody looks exactly the same upon first glance. And you really got to micro get into his position group, find the best 3 or guys in that group, then go to the next position group, look for the top 2 or 3 guys in that group. It's a good bet if you want a cheat code. Just follow Coach Day, find out where he is, go watch the guys he's watching, and he does not watch guys for no reason. So there's a little tip if you're there at camp today. If Coach Day's at your group, you got a good group. There's another echelon of players there, the top Ohio players. Not all of them are these 4 and 5 stars nationally, but some of these kids do come out in the wash and camp and run great times. BP Miller, we could go through the list of guys every year, and you've told your Terry McLaurin story plenty of times. It's like I put out that report, everybody's graded A, B, C, and D, and I tell everybody today is the day you can throw that away, reset the board. Everything you thought you knew, you don't know anymore. So the new evaluations start today. It's really an exciting time, and it is a fast-paced couple hours. I mean, we are running from field to field. Bill, hey, did you see this kid's here? Did you see that kid's here? What number is he? And, it's really – and you see all the other reporters scrambling. It's kind of a cool scene.
And the idea that a kid could come and earn an offer today or make a real impression is true. Keep in mind, these are younger human beings who are growing. Dudes hit a growth spurt. You can hit a growth spurt in 2 months in high school. Get faster and stronger and show up looking like a different person, got a mustache and your voice has changed. So they got to be on top of these guys. Each one of them, even the ones they like, they got to follow because of the development. But you're going to see some studs there today. So, Mark, let's talk about Jaylen Brewster. This is our first look at him on film.
The other thing that'll be there are the 27s and 28s and 29s. I mean, I'm always kind of pushing to that. Okay, where's the young group? I know maybe Coach Day's watching the senior quarterbacks. I want to watch the younger quarterbacks. Okay. I watched this tape and I thought, wow, what a great defensive lineman. He's probably a defensive tackle. When Bill said 300 pounds, my jaw dropped a little bit longer. This kid moves very well. Yeah, very well. 300 pounds, Bill.
As Mark's talking there, sorry, interrupt real quick, Mark.
He's playing quarterback here, Bill, so keep talking.
I was going to say, I'm like, is he linebacker?
We're going to see him in the backfield.
Holy mackerel, dude.
Set your own Bettis. Yeah, so
that is the classic invited your big brother to play football when he's an 8th grader and all your friends are in 4th grade at the school playground.
Yeah, in no way do I think he will ever play running back or, quarterback. He's a defensive tackle. I know he's standing up at outside linebacker. He may think he's an outside edge player. There's not enough twitch or explosion off that edge, but there is an extreme amount of power, as you saw right there. Like peg the meter in power, throw him in at 3 technique, let that athletic ability you see running around, come to fruition down there. But yeah, that's impressive when you take a snap at QB.
So I don't know if you guys remember a guy named Ahmad Brooks. He ended
linebacker.
Yeah, and he played linebacker for the 49ers. He was, if he wasn't the top player in the country, he was definitely the top player in the state of Virginia when I was covering high school. I mean, he was the biggest, strongest, fastest guy on the field. You couldn't even call him a werewolf because he's too big. He was their kickoff returner. He literally would just catch the ball and run straight up the middle of the field, and no one would try. I mean, people would try and tackle him, but it wasn't, he got ahead of steam, and then it was your life was on the line at that point. And he didn't play. I mean, he didn't return kicks at Virginia. But when you see guys doing stuff like that at that age, just friggin' really impressive. Bill, who else do we know for a fact will be there today? Or at least nothing's for a fact, but do we expect to be there today?
Yeah, you never know with camp season, guys all of a sudden show up that you don't know about, and sometimes guys don't make the camp. So, I don't put a lot of stock in tracking down guys beforehand, because even if you track them down and they say they're going to be there, sometimes things happen and they don't make it. So, but I'll tell you some things I'm going to be looking for besides Jaylen Brewster. Offensive line, Tyler Bowen offered a scholarship to, I think it was 5 or 6 offensive linemen in one day. It was on Tuesday, I believe. In fact, I had an article on it. Ohio State offered a scholarship to 8 high school players from either the class of 2027 or 2028 on Tuesday, and 6 of them were offensive linemen. So any offensive lineman could get offered. I'll be looking at that today. Khalil Johnson, Mark is well aware of him from Cincinnati Taft. He is supposed to be at Ohio State today, and Ohio State has already offered him a scholarship. Patrick O'Brien from Cincinnati Moeller. Does he get an offer today? I don't think that's out of the question. He's a 2027 offensive lineman, just like Khalil Johnson. Lou Luau from Cincinnati Winton Woods is another in-state offensive lineman from 2027. Does he get an offer today? So I'll be particularly interested in the offensive line today, just because I want to see who gets offered. And the way Tyler Bowen has gone, I just expect that there could be offers today. Also, I think it's interesting. Ohio State still is looking for a 2026 quarterback, and they already have a commitment from a 2027 quarterback, Brady Edmonds, but they're still looking at 2027 quarterbacks too. In fact, one of them that they've offered a scholarship to will be at Ohio State today working out. Derek Baker from Alfreda Milton High School in Georgia, 6'2", 220-pounder that Ohio State has offered a scholarship to already. He is going to be at Ohio State's camp today. So Ohio State offered him a scholarship back in early January. So he's a guy I'll be looking at. And again, does a 2026 quarterback show up that can earn an offer? Everybody's well aware of the name Belisari. Drew Belisari is going to be at Ohio State's camp today. And I'm not saying he's going to get offered by Ohio State today, but those are the kind of guys that I think will be interesting to watch. By the way, Belisari is from Columbus Bishop Watterson High School.
It's interesting to me, and also encouraging, that if you look at the offers we're doling out, a lot of them are going to states where we are competing intensely with the main program in that state, being Georgia and Texas. I'm just looking at the 8 offers yesterday, Bill. Georgia, Hawaii, Texas, Oklahoma, Texas, Georgia, New Jersey. I like it. It definitely hurts to hit them in the breadbasket. And we'll get to that. Speaking of hooking people up, look at these. You don't look at Dan and say, work boot guy, construction guy. You look at Dan and say, hey, he likes the free hat they sent him. Look at that thing. That thing is fire, and no one else has this. I'm a guy who likes to wear the hat around that no one else has. I rocked a banana slugs hat in high school for this reason. It's UC Santa Cruz, but I digress. Brunt, these things are incredible. Great work boots, but fashionable. The guy who made it is a worker himself and made it for his friends. Eric Gouard grew up blue collar, started Brunt after his friends in the trades encouraged him to start a workwear brand that was really built for them. Comfortable right out of the box. Most other boots require significant break-in periods. It's not just about work boots. If you get on there, they got a full range of high-performance gear built for tough jobs. From heavy-duty work pants to weather-resistant jackets, Brunt designs durable, reliable workwear to keep you protected and productive in any condition. That includes cold weather. You frigid types would want to check this out. I rocked a Brunt jacket this past winter, and it was money. Not just a durable work boot. They've reinvented comfort for the hardest workers out there. You can get a deal Father's Day's here. $10 off by using code Bucknuts at checkout. So go to brunt.com/Bucknuts and you're all set. Check at the bottom here. Oh, bruntworkwear.com. Excuse me. You got the trailer here on the bottom, and you're good to go. All right, Bill. Let's talk about earlier in the week, the offers that were doled out. Let's first talk about the guys who weren't offensive linemen. Toa Satele from Hawaii, Toasatele. That was for one of our hosts here. Linebacker from Hawaii, and running back Wayne Shanks Jr. from Texas. You must be pretty good to get an offer that early. Who are they, and why do we need to know about them, Bill?
Now, Toa Satele is the number one prospect in the state of Hawaii. Now, obviously, Hawaii is not going to produce anywhere near the talent of Ohio or Texas or Florida or any of those states. But still, you're the number one player in the state of Hawaii. That's significant. And Ohio State doesn't go to Hawaii very often and offer guys. So James Laurinaitis is recruiting Toa Satele. He's a 6'3", 200-pounder, class of 2027. And he's a guy that some have even projected as a safety at the next level. I think he's going to be a linebacker and grow into that position. 6'3", 200, obviously, right now is not a college linebacker. But again, he's only just finishing up his sophomore season. So certainly that's an important offer. And then the other offer to a non-offensive lineman went to Wayne Shanks Jr. from, once again, Texas, Houston Kincaid School in Texas. He's a 5'11", 175-pound running back, class of 2027, that Carlos Lachlan has offered a scholarship.
Sounds good. Let's talk about some of the guys. We got questions. We got a question specifically here. Has OSU contacted J. Storm Knight, 6'8", 345? Geez, 14. That is incredible. Do we know who this is?
You could pull him up here in 2 seconds. Share screen. There he is. Yeah, I was looking at him when the name came up to see if it was worthy of a peek. And, I mean, you had me at 6'8", 345, but then when you say 14 years old, it's just like the genetics in this type of human being, especially when you have kids that are the same age.
Oh, my Lord. Where's Judson High School?
Judson High School. Sorry,
Oklahoma or something? Bill, any idea? I'll look it up. Go ahead.
Texas, Converse, Texas. There you go. Yeah. So yeah, let's plug this name in the memory bank, and obviously it's really soon. Body of a senior or college type player as a 14-year-old. The feet right there are not bad. I mean, you could tell there's a lot of mold left to do here, and he's got some rawness to him. But I mean, 6'8", 345. Even if he's done growing, he's a possible candidate here. So yeah, appreciate the heads up on him today.
I hope we offer Jamarcus Weiss today from Mika. Bill, I'm under the mind. I think Jamarcus Weiss verbally committed to Louisville. Will he does that mean they still go camping? Mark, do you know anything about that?
I don't know if he's scheduled for this camp or not. And I thought he was a little bit undersized and explosive. We compared him to it. And I did this last time. The kid from Centerville that was really explosive from Dayton that came in, Michael Bennett. He was like that type of player, but just not as big.
I saw him earlier this spring, actually, and I would second what Mark just said about him. As far as camps, I haven't been told that he is planning to camp at Ohio State, but again, this is just the first camp. Maybe he shows up today. I mean, it's not like he has a long way to go.
Let's check this out. Yeah, it's very interesting. Like you said, Mark. I'm not saying I want a DNA test, but 14 years old, 345 pounds. I don't know if I've ever heard that before, especially a guy who could move. That's impressive.
I haven't set a record for the youngest, biggest guy ever, but let me put him in the mix. Right away.
Yeah. Doug, one of our best. Bill, has offensive line talent in Ohio improved, or is it just a different approach? It doesn't seem like there's an overflow of Ohio guys getting offers. It feels to me like it's class by class. It just doesn't seem consistent. What's your vibe on that, Bill?
Yeah, I think it just goes by year. I mean, some years it's better than others. Some years are going to offer more guys there, and some years are not. I think it's just, I don't think it's any big change as far as, how many guys they offer a certain year, saying that means that we've got a big change. I just think cycles, so sometimes there are a lot of great offensive linemen in Ohio, and sometimes there are more defensive linemen. It just goes by the year, really.
What's your vibe on that, Mark? Also, here's Mark. I'd like you to both you comment on this. Do you think a 2026 quarterback, a local guy, could come in there and impress them, and they may take a guy who maybe doesn't have the national appeal because he's actually willing to join the team, and kind of a sandwich year for quarterback? Is that possible?
I think it's possible. I'm not predicting it's going to happen, but certainly I think it's possible. This is not exactly what you're saying, but hey, BP Miller showed up at camp last year and blew them away. And he wasn't a guy sandwiching in between wide receiver groups, but he was so good that they offered him a scholarship, and within a few weeks, he was an Ohio State commitment.
I think the writing on the wall is we have some really good quarterbacks in Edmonds and St. Clair sandwiching you. And if you come here, you may not, be the first pick. So I think that's what's the writing on the wall. So that's the type of guy that comes in with the chip on his shoulder, that has a great camp today, that, the mindset of that player would have to be, I'm going to grind. It's not the most enviable position to know you might go in a second or third on a depth chart, but Julian Sayin doesn't look like much, and he's the guy. So sometimes we let our eyes fool us, and we think this 2026 is going to have to come in and walk on water. It could just be a guy who wants it really bad. So that would be the recipe. If I was in the staff room, I'd say that's the type of guy we're looking for, that can ignore the stuff on the sides, grind, and maybe be the guy someday and shock us.
And is Luke Fahey the guy? Not to show up today. He's not going to be at camp today, but he's a 2026 guy that is scheduled to make an official visit to Ohio State at the end of the month. He is visiting the weekend of June 20th, and he's a pretty talented quarterback. Would he go ahead and jump in between those two guys, Edmonds and St. Clair? Luke Fahey is from Mission Viejo, California, and he's a 6 foot, 185 pounder, so not prototype size, but he's an intriguing guy. He's really, really pretty strong quarterback. Right now, I think that Indiana, Stanford, maybe Oklahoma State would be the most likely places he would end up. He has official visits to all of them, but he still has an official visit to Ohio State for the end of the month. So we'll see what happens.
Quarterbacks come in all shapes and sizes. If you got everybody in the room who's played quarterback, you'd have Tate Martell in there and Terrell Pryor in there. Two guys who could not look more different and had tremendous pedigrees. How their careers went is not really the point here. Is that high school quarterbacks win in all we saw a guy taking snaps at 300 pounds earlier here today, and Tate Martell was probably 170. I'm just saying, they come in all shapes and sizes before you get to the NFL, when they kind of get you prototyped up. But all shapes and sizes.
Great comment about Bill that got deleted. They were complimenting him about his grizzled, nature, and talking about how he had 1 foot in the grave already. He's been doing this so long. So they got deleted. It was so funny, and so, but yeah, I caught it for a second.
They're already knocking me off.
It was one of those backhanded compliments, like, you have so much experience, you're almost ready to kick it. So yeah.
My wife is not
got rid of it.
Be happy with that.
That's extremely backhanded.
Yeah, that's funny. Always good for a user-generated laugh.
Thoughts on these guys here, because Mika's kind of got me going on this. This is your wheelhouse, Mark.
Yeah, Jaron
Mock, Nick Kinsey. Oh, so let me read the question first for those on the pod.
Okay.
Those not following along on video. And if you're not, you're doing it wrong. I hope so. Dan, Jaron Mock, Nick Kinsey have potential along with Nathan Bernard and Rocco Williams. We know a few of those names. Can you let us know the names we don't know?
Yes, Jaron Mock is from Pickerington Central. I'm sorry, Pickerington Central. He's the quarterback there. He's a dual threat guy, and you know what? That might be the type of guy that, you know, you change up the room. You have a tall guy in Edmonds, tall guy in St. Clair. Let's bring in an athlete that can maybe do both. Where's that question again? Nathan Bernard, I think that ship has sailed. He's committed to Appalachian State. He wants to be the guy. He wants to be, you know, come in and play and you know, get all 4 years of experience and develop. Doesn't want to have to wait, so that makes sense there. Rocco Williams from Pickerington Central now is the quarterback that he was at both of the Ohio. He was at 2 or 3 Ohio State camps last year. I mean, he really tried to go earn it last year. He spins it as well as anybody. He's an accurate guy. He would maybe be the type of local kid. You know, they could say, you know what, here's a guy in town that's grown up a Buckeye fan and would sell his soul and heart to be a part of this program. Is that the type of fit? You know, so I think they'll look for like the personality that fits. You'd like to give it to a local guy, but I'm not sure if, you know, those are the guys that would normally be the talent that Ohio State would be going after, but they may be the fit with personality, location, and for 2026.
Somebody just kept me out of the grave, by the way, guys. Somebody posted Buck Rational, we will all be dead and the dean will still be jogging. So thank you for keeping me out of the grave.
I'll let you guys go on this, but having taken the dean out to eat several times on Uncle Bucknuts, he does not tax the wallet whatsoever. I've taken these guys out. Bill is ordering a burger, and that's it. Nothing on it. Burger and bun. I think the third entree was coming for Steve and Dave at the time. He was finishing that off. Nachos, whatever, dude. And so Bill would be a skill player, and we probably have to play Dave and Steve on the line, but that's okay.
It's
Mark,
funny,
you can play
Dan.
tight end.
Yeah, Dan, my friends do the same thing. If we go to dinner with Mark, we know he's going to get a burger with ketchup only. So I'm a little more fancy than Bill. I go with a condiment, but I am a very meat and bun type guy.
Yeah, so you're more of a picky eater, and Bill's doing it to watch his waistline more. So it's a little different. This is why you will be on. Like I told you, tight end is the kid. Is every peewee kid, every big peewee kid who thinks he's going to be able to be on the line, and the dad says, "Just ask to play tight end. Maybe they'll throw it to you." They're not throwing it to you, dude. Okay, we all know this now. All right, these guys are going to be on the road here momentarily. Camp, I believe, starts noon sharp. That means these guys will be there with bells on. We'll have other guys there as well. This is where you want to be all day. Bill and Mark will be checking in on the boards and letting you know what they see. There's going to be new names today. There's going to be offers. There's going to be drama. So make sure you have it locked into Bucknuts. I'm going to let these guys go. We thank the dean and we thank the Grand Poobah, and they are hitting the road. And I'm going to tell you about Gooder Sunglasses to finish the show here. One of our best sponsors, stylish sunnies, starting at only $25 a pair. You cannot beat that. I've told this story every time when I go on here, and I say pretty much everybody on here who's over, let's say, 30-something, has been to an Ohio State game and worn their fancy Varnays with the white and the strap in the back or something. Noon kickoff, you start to enjoy yourself. You wake up the next morning, you ain't got no glasses. If you had Gooders, it was only $25 instead of $250. You can buy 3 pairs. I did it. Lightweight and comfortable, 100% polarized. If you go to the site, gooder.com, literally there is a style on there for you. So if you need a new pair, we're giving Bucknuts Morning 5 listeners free shipping. Go to gooder.com, GOODR.com/Bucknuts, and use Bucknuts for free shipping. 30-day money-back guarantee and 100% satisfaction. I'm telling you, these are good things for the summer, and we hope you enjoyed the show. Like I said, keep it locked to Bucknuts. Camp day, very interesting dudes there. The dean is there. The Grand Poobah is there, so they'll bring you inside as well. Have a good one. Nutters of Buck.